Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
Hi, hello, woo, hey, how you doing? Today we're gonna see 10 ways to say hello in French. Here we go. Bonjour, good morning. We say it in the morning. It's literally good day, but you can use it usually in the morning because then you can say bonsoir for the night or good night for the night. Salut, hello. That's a more friendly way to say hi. Don't use it with your boss or at work or the first time you meet someone in kind of a professional setting. In that case, you use bonjour. And this one is more informal, so with friends or with people you are acquainted with a lot or friendly with. Comment allez-vous? How have you been? This one is again pretty formal, so if you want to say it with a friend, it would be comment vas-tu? So comment allez-vous is the formal way, so use it again with your boss or with people you don't really know. Usually you say, ah, bonjour, comment allez-vous? Hi, hello, how have you been? Comment vas-tu? How are you? And now for the informal way, it's comment vas-tu? How are you? How are you doing? So informal one for friends and family and people you know. Salut, comment vas-tu? Hi, how are you doing? Comment ça va? How is it going? Which means the same as the previous two, but it's another way of saying it. So how are you doing? Tell me in the comments. Comment se passe votre journée? How is your day? Leave it in the comment again. How is your day? I hope you are having a good one. My day is fine. Quoi de neuf? What's up? Literally, what is new? So this one is also familiar, so using it with French. Yeah, this one is informal, so you should use it with friends. Bonsoir. Good evening. This one you can use to greet people with or say goodbye as well. So if you say bonsoir when leaving, it also works. Use it when it's night or evening. Ravi de vous rencontrer. Nice to meet you. This one is a bit formal, so yeah, since you are meeting someone for the first time, I think it's appropriate to use in almost every cases. Or if you want to be a bit less formal because, for example, a friend introduces you to another friend, you can say ravi de te rencontrer or ravi de vous rencontrer. Nice to meet you. Comment ça va? How is everything? So you can use it instead of how are you doing? Comment ça va? How is everything? The end. So how are you doing, people? Leave it in the comment. Don't forget to check the website for more French and subscribe for more videos, and we will see you next time. Bonsoir, if it's night. Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, when should I use lequel, auquel, and duquel? Now, as you might remember for a previous lesson, we use que, qui, and dont to combine two sentences. We can also use lequel, auquel, and duquel to also combine sentences. Let's have a look at when we should use them. Lequel can mean which. We can use it to ask a question when the object is known. For example, quel livre veut-il? Meaning, what book does he want? Can become lequel veut-il? Meaning, which one does he want? Passe-moi l'assiette means pass me the plate. Laquelle means which one? Notice anything different? Unlike which in English, lequel has to agree with the gender and noun. So we also have lequel, laquelle, lesquels, and lesquels. Le, la, and les are the definite articles. And you add L, E to the end to make it feminine and S to make it plural. Lequel, laquelle, lesquels, and lesquels. If we can also use lequel to combine a sentence with a preposition, then why can't we just use que or qui? Well, because of the preposition. In spoken English, we often end sentences with a preposition. For example, it's the tool I repaired the wall with. But you want to avoid this in French. If you would translate the previous sentence directly, it will be « C'est l'outil que j'ai réparé le mur avec ». This is understandable, but not correct. C'est l'outil avec lequel j'ai réparé le mur. Or, it's the tool with which I repaired the wall. Sounds much better. Let's look at some more examples. First, le cahier dans lequel j'écris means the notebook in which I write. L'entreprise pour laquelle elle travaille means the company for which she works. Finally, les photos dans lesquelles Bigfoot figure sont floues means the images in which Bigfoot appears are blurry. What if the preposition is a or de? In these cases, you can't use lequel. You have to use auquel or duquel. It sounds more natural, and auquel and duquel must agree in gender and number as well. Auquel, à laquelle, auquel, auquel. Duquel, de laquelle, desquels, desquels. An example is les livres auxquels je fais référence, meaning the books to which I am referring. Le magasin près duquel je travaille, meaning the store near which I work. Lastly, let's talk about how we use duquel in this case and not dont. This is because it's a prepositional phrase. So remember, for phrases like près de, à côté de, and en face de, use duquel, not dont. Okay, I hope I helped clear things up for you. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I try to answer them. À bientôt, see you soon.
Hi everyone, I am Lindsay from FrenchPod101.com. In this video, we'll be talking about 15 ways to complain in French. Let's go! The first complaint is Je suis fatigué. Je suis fatigué. I am tired. This is a basic and a convenient sentence to use when you are tired. Don't forget that all French adjectives agree in gender with the nouns they describe. So if you are a girl, you are fatigué with I. Il fait chaud. Il fait chaud. This means it's hot. When referring to the weather in French, we don't say c'est, it is, but rather we say il fait. For example, il fait chaud, it's hot. Il fait froid. Il fait froid. This means it's cold. This is similar to il fait chaud, but you just have to substitute chaud, hot, with froid, which means cold. C'est trop cher. C'est trop cher. This means it's too expensive. If you want to complain about something being expensive, this sentence is perfect. Trop means too much, and cher is an adjective that means expensive. The next complaint is c'est bruyant. C'est bruyant. This means it's noisy. Bruyant is an adjective meaning noisy and loud. You can use it to describe a place, an object, or a person. The next complaint is je meurs de faim. Je meurs de faim. This means I'm starving. Meurs comes from the verb mourir, which means to die. It means you are so hungry you could die. J'ai grossi. J'ai grossi. This means I got fat. This comes from the verb grossir, meaning to put on weight. The opposite is mincir, to get slimmer. Je suis toujours ruiné. Je suis toujours ruiné. This means I'm always broke. The French adverb toujours has several meanings. It may mean always, anyway, anyhow, at least, or still. Mon travail est ennuyeux. Mon travail est ennuyeux. This means my job is boring. Ennuyeux is a French adjective meaning boring. It can apply to a person, an object, or a place. The next complaint is cette personne pue. Cette personne pue. This means that person stinks. Puer is a verb and has different meanings. It can mean to smell bad, to stink, or to smell fishy. With this sentence, you may complain about someone who smells bad or who's uncool or repulsive. Il n'y a plus de saison. Il n'y a plus de saison. This means seasons don't count for anything anymore. The weather is a basic talking point in France. Everyone in France loves to talk about the weather and they particularly like to complain about it. The Wi-Fi ici est trop lent. The Wi-Fi ici est trop lent. This means the Wi-Fi here is too slow. In French, you can say Wi-Fi or Internet when referring to the internet. Lent means slow. Il y a trop de circulation. Il y a trop de circulation. This means there is too much traffic. Circulation in French means trafic, but you can also use the word trafic, which is similar to the English word traffic. Mon patron est chiant. Mon patron est chiant. This means my boss is annoying. Chiant is a slang word, but be careful as it is very casual. Basically, it means boring or annoying. Le salaire est trop bas. Le salaire est trop bas. This means the wage is too low. You use this phrase when you want to complain about your salary. Bas in this situation means low. Okay, that's all for this lesson. Which complaints do you like the most? Leave us a comment letting us know. And we'll see you next time. À bientôt. Cette personne pue. I'm sorry. Okay, let's do it. Cette personne pue. This means that person stinks. Okay. Cette personne pue. This means... I'm sorry.
Hi everyone! Are you ready to eat some French food? Here are 10 must-know vocabulary for the restaurant. Let's go. Serveur, waiter. Serveur, waiter. Frédéric est serveur. Frédéric is a waiter because he has to pay for, I don't know, university, so in the summer you can be a waiter. Serveuse, waitress. Serveuse, waitress. La serveuse tient un plateau avec des verres. The waitress is holding a tray with glasses. I couldn't be a waitress because I would just break everything because I'm clumsy. I admire people who can wait properly. Menu, menu. Menu, menu. Ce menu est à prix fixe. This menu is at a fixed price. Yeah, when you go to a restaurant, you will usually have à la carte menu, where you can choose the items you want, and then a fixed price menu when you can choose between 2 or 3 different items, and if you want appetizers and a main and one more thing, and if you want dessert or cheese. And depending on that, the price can vary. Commander, to order. Commander, to order. J'ai commandé le plat du jour. I ordered the dish of the day. Good job. Oh, water. Oh, water. Tu devrais boire plus d'eau. You should drink more water. And I should also drink more water. It gets your skin nice and fresh. Dessert, dessert. Dessert, dessert. Dessert is my favorite thing. La tarte tatin est un dessert populaire qui peut être commandé dans la plupart des brasseries françaises. Tarte tatin is a common dessert that can be ordered in most French brasseries, which are traditional tiny restaurants. It's a nice dessert with apple, and the secret is to bake it reversed, so with the apple at the bottom and the dough on top. So tasty. I think it was discovered when someone dropped the tart the other way or put it the wrong way in the oven, and then discovered that it was a tasty way to bake. Because the dough will keep the warmth inside, and the apple will bake in their own juice, and being a bit steamed too, because the dough is on top. And when you flip it back, then the dough stay drier, let's say, because it doesn't soak up all the juices from down...
The apple?
Yeah, from all the apples. Oh. So then you flip it back, and it's nice. The apple gets really tight and compact and really molten. Restauration rapide. Fast food. Restauration rapide. Fast food. Les hamburgers et les frites sont considérés comme étant de la restauration rapide. Burgers and fries are considered fast food. Nom, 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 nom. I like hamburgers. With bacon. What are we talking about? Probably food again. Restaurant. 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 Le restaurant est très bon. The restaurant is really good. Of course it is. It's French. If you can save a bit when you go to France and go to a really good restaurant, you should try it because it's worth it. So try it at least once. Note. Bill. Note. Bill. Serveur, la note. Waiter, the bill. Try to be a bit more polite and say at least, please. Like, can I have the bill, please? And don't call the waiter, waiter. Just say, can I have the bill, please? Puis-je avoir la note, s'il vous plaît? Would be a more polite way to say so. Délicieux. Delicious. Délicieux. Delicious. C'est plus que bon, c'est délicieux. This is more than good. This is delicious. I like delicious crepe. And you can make a ton of crepe and then you can eat all the crepe with as many toppings as you want. My favorite is chocolate and banana and whipped cream. If you want more food and restaurant vocabulary, we have more on the website. Or subscribe, because we also have more on YouTube. And we will see you next time. See ya. Nom, 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 nom. Hee-haw. 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 Too much sugar. Bah.
Hi, my name is Devon, and I'm from the United States of America.
My name is Risa. I'm from Japan.
Hi, I'm Philip. I'm Swedish.
I'm Anna. I'm from Spain.
I'm Lena. I'm Hungarian.
My name is Yuri. I am Ukrainian American.
I'm Kejin. I'm Korean, and I haven't learned French before, so I'm really scared now. There are 5 vowels, so I'm gonna say joy.
Jojo. Jojo. No.
Whew. Oh, okay, this is easy. It's joyo.
Joyeux.
Jojo.
Jonas. Joan. Yeah. Jo.
Joyeux. Joyeux.
Joyeux. Joyo.
Like Happy Christmas. Jojo. Something. Right? Is that right?
Joyeux.
Joyeux.
My brain immediately went to an American or English word, like quintessential. So quintessence? Quintessence.
Quintessence. Oh, wait. I have to pretend that I'm French, right?
Quintessence. Quintessence.
Quintessence. Is it wrong?
That's German.
Well, in English it would be quintessence, but I'm pretty sure that's not it, so.
Quintessence. I'm a little bit confident about this because we have a similar word in Hungarian.
I would probably guess quintessence.
Well, if it's Korean, I would probably pronounce like quintessence. But I think French is closer to English. I would say something like quintessence.
It sounds like German. Quintessence. Quintessence.
Quintessence.
Quintessence, maybe, with a bad American accent.
Quintessence.
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 Quellir.
Suelir. Suelir.
Quellir.
Couillir.
Suelir.
Quellir. Quellir.
Greater.
I would guess this is cueillir. No. Wait, let me try it again. Cueillir.
Cueillir.
Butere. So hard.
Bouteille. Bouteille.
Yeah, my mind is like, I'm gonna read it just as it's spelled there, but I know it shouldn't. So, botellas, botellas,
Boutilles.
Bouteilles. Oh my god, this is so wrong, I know.
Buteles. 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 I don't know how to do the T sounds. Butere? Butere?
If I were to go phonetically, it says bouteilles, which is definitely not the answer. So I would guess bouteille.
botellas.
Botellas. Botellas.
Bouteille. Am I right? Pretty right.
I didn't realize French was going to be this hard.
Bouteille.
Oh, it seems so short. It seems easy. Queer. Oh. Queer. Queer.
Soyeur. I don't know the French. Oh, wait, it's like, right?
Coer. Is that right? Coer. No, wait, that sounds more Spanish.
Cor. Cor. Clock. Clock. Just in case. Many options.
Queer. Queer. Do French have R sound? Or co? Coe? Coe? Aren't there like 6 E sounds or something in French?
Sueur.
This is like coeur. Coeur.
Coeur. I think that's it.
But it's okay, we have FrenchPod101.com and I can learn from there. I know there is a great pronunciation series.
Soyeur. Soyeur.
Cor. Co. Or something like that.
Cœur.
If you want to speak French from your very first lesson
And improve your pronunciation.
Click the link in the description below
and get your free lifetime account
At FrenchPod101.com.
Hi, I'm Leah, and this is Top 10 Phrases Your Parents Always Say. Let's go. That's the best I could come up with. Soyez prudent. Be careful. That's plural, so that would be if you're with your brother, because your parents wouldn't address you politely. So they would say, if it's singular, sois prudent. Be careful. When I would go to my friends, they would tell me that and say, yeah, you call me when you arrive. And I wouldn't, because let's not be ridiculous. Like, I would take my bike and go to my friends. Or walk there. Yeah, tell me when you arrive. Yeah, I arrived well, I didn't die. Silence. Be quiet. When you are being too noisy. Or when you play your music too loud. Or when you're being an idiot. Or when you're not behaving when you're at their friends. Being at your parents' friends with your parents was just so boring. So I would play with the cutlery and they would tell me to be quiet. Sois sage. Behave. Yeah. Behave. Be quiet. Bye. Jesus. Behave, young girl. Oh, behave. Leave a comment if you get the reference. Oh, behave. You will have to read the comment to know. Fais tes devoirs. Do your homework. You shouldn't need your parents to tell you that. You should do your homeworks on your own now. Do I need to tell you about that? Do your French homework? Stop watching and go do it now. Nah, you can stay. You can go do your homework when you're done watching me. I am your homework now. I'm your French homework. You have to watch. Va au lit. Go to bed. Same as with your homework. Don't have your parents scream at you stuff like this. Just go to bed. Then you can fake it and you can be under the blankie and read a book or listen to stuff. You just have to make them believe you're going to bed. He has nice tips. Je vais compter jusqu'à 3. I'm going to count to 3. That's when you're not eating your soup or when you're being annoying. You're going 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4, and then you get grounded. I don't know. I never got to 3 with them. Arrête. Stop. Again, what kind of parents are those? Don't you have nice parents somewhere? Stop. Hammer time. What would that be in French? Arrête. Le temps du marteau. Doesn't make sense at all. But hey, who cares? Oh yeah, when you want to be a brat and your parents tell you that one word, arrête, it also sounds like a fish bone. Arrête, so une arrête de poisson is a fish bone. And so we would say, y a pas d'arrête dans le beefsteak. There is no fish bone in the steak. Which doesn't mean much, but just when you want to be a brat and annoy your parents, you would say that. Something to annoy people with. Qu'est-ce que tu as dit? What did you say? So if you do the arrête stuff we just saw, then maybe your parents will ask you this. What did you just say? You're making fun of me, huh? You're making fun of me? Yeah. So what did you say? Je ne plaisante pas. I'm not kidding. I will count to 3 and I'm not kidding. I don't know, I never argue with my parents so much that they would have to tell me stuff like this. I would just stare at them, shut up, and go into my room. Yeah, because they were always arguing between them and throwing plates at each other, so I would go to my room anyway to avoid them. I'm not kidding! Je ne plaisante pas, tu ne dois pas manger le dernier cookie. You shall not eat the last cookie, I'm not kidding! It's mine. Sorry. It's mine! It's my cookie. It's my cookie. Éteins la télévision immédiatement. Turn the TV off now. They told me that when I was 12 and I was watching The X-Files too much. And The X-Files is a show for adults, so it was forbidden for people under 12, but I would watch it anyway. And it would run really late and I would have school the next day. So if they caught me watching The X-Files, they would say that. Turn off the TV and go to bed. But I like The X-Files. No, it doesn't look as good anymore. But at the time it was. So hey, if you are a parent, we also have words for you on the website. So go check it out or subscribe for more French words. And we'll see you next time. Bye kids and parents and all of you.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
Hey guys, my name is Pierre and I'm from France and welcome to this lesson. Today's lesson will be about what not to pronounce in French. You know, French is really annoying. The way you say it and the way you write it, it's really different. And I'm here to show you that it's not that hard if you know the basics. So first, I would like to introduce you to the common silent letters. First, there is this letter, H. This is maybe the most common one. In French, H has no pronunciation, there is no aspiration, unlike English. When you see H alone, it's always silent in French. For example, in homme, which means man, you don't say the H. Same for haricot, which means beans, or for which is the French way to say when you're hesitating. Then there is this combination, CH. And when there is this combination, you have to say it. It's almost never silent. For example, cheval, which means horse, and then échec, which means chess. But of course, in French, there are many exceptions, and those two words are exceptions. Écho, which means echo, like in English, and choral, which means choral, like in English. H is silent here. You have to say just the C, écho, choral. Don't focus too much on those exceptions, because usually it's always never silent, but if you really want some examples, just try to remember those two, because maybe they are the most common ones, but don't focus too much on exceptions again. Then, let's move on to the next letter, which is OR. This letter is quite like never silent, but in some cases, like when you see the combination ER in verbs, you have not to say the R. It's always silent. For example, in the verb manger, which means eat, or parler, to speak, you have not to say the R. It's always that for the verbs, which are with ER. Then, you've got some other words that are using the same rule, like premier. Just try to remember this one. It means first. And here, you don't have to say the or. Let's move on to the next letter, which is X. This one is really easy. There are 3 patterns that you have to remember, and then after that, you're done. It's really easy. Those patterns are wa, o, e. You see, I don't say the X. Wa, o, e. It's always silent. Here are some examples. Voice, voix in French, no X. Oiseau, which is the plural for birds, so like many birds. Usually you don't have X, but here it's like a plural, the plural form. And then heureux, which is the adjective for happy. Many adjectives have this terminaison, and you have to say it, and you have not to say X. Let's move on to the next category, which is SCPD category. It's almost always silence when it's at the end of a word. To remember that, here is a kind of little trick for you. You can think that French is stupid. And in this word, you see all the letters that are almost always silent. S-T-P-D. Stupid. So here is an example. Le petit loup est méchant, which means the little wolf is nasty. So here there is petit, you don't say the T. Loup, you don't say the P. Est, which is kind of an exception. Here you see S and T, and you don't have to say it just for the verb to be. So just remember that when you see EST, this is a common question, don't say the S and T. But usually when you see the word est, which means east, you have to say it. So this rule is only when you see one letter at the end. When you see more than 2 letters, this is different. And then there is méchant, T. You don't say the T. But of course, there are exceptions. And here are the 2 main exceptions that you have to remember. When you say son, fils, you have to say the S. And then there is this little tricky word, plus. Sometimes, plus, you don't say it, you don't say the S. But when you say when you say the word plus, as more, you mean more, you have to say it, plus. So when there is the S, it means more. When there is not this S, like when you say just plus, but it's the same writing, you don't, it means less. So this is a kind of tricky word. And then there is this combination with S. S is often the mark of the plural, but sometimes it's not, and you also don't have to pronunciate when you add it after P, T, or D. So here are some examples. Temps, which means time. Debout, which is the plural form for pieces. Debout, you add the S because of the plural, and you don't say ni, you don't say T or S. And then there is D, tu prends, which is you take. And always when you conjugate verbs, you often have D and S, and you don't say it. So these are the main letters that are silent. STPD, French is stupid. Then you've got some letters that are sometimes silent, sometimes they are not. So you just have to remember which words are like that. Those letters are B, C, F, G, J, L, Z. So here are some examples, like maybe the main ones. Just try to remember them, and then only experience will help you to know which word are not silent. Plomb, which means plumb, you don't say the B. Like the B is quite rare. Usually you don't have words with B at the end of the word. Then you have porc, which means pork or pig. There is the C, and you don't say it, porc. Then this adjective, gentil, with the L, you don't say it, but usually words that ends with an L, you have to say it. So this one is really a big exception, gentil. clé et serre, key and deer. There is an F, but you don't say it. But many words you have to say the F, so remember that. Then for J, long, it means long. So in English you have to say the G, in French you don't say it. And then this one, Z, you often not say it in French, but sometimes you have to say it. Here you don't say it. Chez, which means that I'm going to my place, I'm going to your place, to, translation for to. Né, which means nose. Riz, for rice. And assez, for enough. So here are some examples that you have to remember. So far we've seen 5 different patterns. H or X if you see H alone, or in ER only in verbs, and in the adjective premier, and X in those 3 patterns, wa, o, e. You have to be silent. You don't say those letters. So this is the 3 letters that are important for you to remember. And then there is S, T, P, and D, which is almost always silent. So this is the main one that you have to remember in addition to those ones. S, T, P, and D. French is stupid. And then you've got those letters that are more tricky, B, C, F, J, L, Z. And you have to remember some examples. And if you really have to remember one category, I think you should really remember with the D, because there are many words with these exceptions. Let's move on to the training part. Here are some sentences. I'm going to read them and you will see which letters are not or silent. Try by yourself before I'm going to say it. So here is the first one. Did you try? Okay, the answer is ils ne sont pas assez grands. Ils ne sont pas assez grands. So here there is this S that is silent, and there is this T, and this S is not silent due to the liaison, which is introduced by this vowel A. In the next lesson, I'm going to deal with the French liaison, so don't worry about that. For now, it's only common silent letters. So you have to say it here, but usually it's silent, so don't worry for that. And then there is the Z and the D and S that are silent. Ils ne sont pas assez grands, which means they are not big enough. Ils ne sont pas assez grands. Let's move on to the next one. Did you try? Okay. The answer is je suis heureux d'être amoureux. Je suis heureux d'être amoureux. So here, again, there is a liaison, because H is silent, and here there is a vowel, but don't worry about that. Here, X and X, you don't have to say it. Je suis heureux d'être amoureux. It means I'm happy to be in love. I'm happy to be in love. Je suis heureux d'être amoureux. Next one, this one, is a bit longer. Try by yourself. The answer is les chevaux courent plus vite que les bœufs. Les chevaux courent plus vite que les bœufs. Les chevaux courent plus vite que les bœufs. Here there is an S. You don't say it. Here there is an X. You don't say it. The T here, the S here. Even though it means more, you don't say it, because here there is an adjective after that, and when you say plus with an adjective, plus with an adjective, if there is no vowel, you don't say it. So here, plus vite. This S, and then B. You don't say the F and you don't say the S, but please be careful. When there is no S at the end of B, you have to say the F, bœuf. But here, you don't say it. This sentence means the horses ran faster than the cows, which is in French, les chevaux courent plus vite que les bœufs. Then there is this sentence. Try by yourself. The answer is mes cheveux sont trop longs. Mes cheveux sont trop longs. It means my hair are too long. And here, all the words have a silent letters. Mes cheveux sont trop longs. Mes cheveux sont trop longs. And this one now, try by yourself. J'ai pris plus de temps que prévu. J'ai pris plus de temps que prévu. So here there is this silent S, but here you have to say it. J'ai pris plus de temps, more time. So you have to say it. It's different, even though here it's more, but it's with an adjective. Here it's plus alone. So you have to say it because it means more. Then there is temps, P and S, you don't say it, and this is fine. J'ai pris plus de temps que prévu. I took more time than expected. J'ai pris plus de temps que prévu. Then the last one, try by yourself. This one is a little bit tricky. So the answer is, à l'est du parc, il y a des noix qui ont poussé. À l'est du parc, il y a des noix qui ont poussé. So here you can see that I have to say est because it's not the verb to be. It's not the verb être. It's east. So in French you have to say S and T here. So à l'est. À l'est du parc. Here again there is a C, but you have to say it. This is not one of the words I wanted you to remember. So parc, you have to say it. Il y a des, you don't say it. Noix, here again there is the pattern O-I-X, so you don't say it. Qui ont, here there is this silent T. And then, pousser. À l'est du parc, il y a des noix qui ont poussé. At the eastern part of the park, some nuts started to grow. À l'est du parc, il y a des noix qui ont poussé. So did you try and did you manage to do it? It's okay if you don't have a perfect score. Just it's practice. You need to learn, and it's like it's normal to fail. So you can watch this video again and try the sentences again and remember all those patterns. Next lesson, I will introduce you to the French liaison. But for now, it's only silent letters. That's all for today. If you like the video, please leave a comment on the sections below, or you can hit the like button or share this video with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can do it. The button is down below. And if you want some more resources on learning French, go to our website, FrenchPod101.com. You will see many French lessons, and I hope to see you again for more French lessons. Bye, guys.
Is everyone feeling in love? I'm Leah, and here are our 10 most romantic ideas for a date. Let's go on a date together. Dîner aux chandelles, candlelit dinner. Dîner aux chandelles, candlelit dinner. J'ai préparé un dîner aux chandelles pour notre anniversaire de mariage. I prepared a candlelit dinner for our wedding anniversary. That's a romantic thing to do. And then you put tiny paper hearts, and you put dim lights. Everything is nice. A nice bottle of wine or champagne. That's cute. Faire une longue promenade. To go for a long walk. Faire une longue promenade. To go for a long walk. Nous avons fait une longue promenade après le déjeuner. We went for a long walk after lunch. Yeah, I should do that too after lunch. You can go to a nice park and watch the trees and the flowers and just hold hands in the park and break everything. Aller faire du bowling. To go bowling. Aller faire du bowling. To go bowling. Nous sommes allés faire du bowling pour mon anniversaire. We went bowling for my birthday. If a guy is asking you to go bowling on a date, it's because he wants to look at your butt when you clumsily throw the ball. So bowling is a common French idea of a date. So a lot of people do that apparently. So yeah, if you are the one inviting for the date, you should make a big score and show how strong you are. And if you are the one invited, or if you want to act all cute, you should be a bit clumsy and say, "Can you help me? I don't know how to hold the ball properly. It's so heavy." And yeah, be a bit clumsy, that's cute. The best is if you look a bit clumsy, but then you beat your date. And that's the fun part. And you say, "Aha!" And they will love you even more. Aller à l'aquarium. To go to the aquarium. Aller à l'aquarium. To go to the aquarium. Elle n'est jamais allée à l'aquarium. She has never been to the aquarium. Aquarium are nice for a date because it's a bit dark and you see all the pretty fishes swimming around. It's really relaxing and cozy and intimate, so that's a good idea. Hey, I can be positive sometimes. Aller à l'opéra. To go to the opera. Aller à l'opéra. To go to the opera. Mes grands-parents adorent aller à l'opéra. My grandparents love going to the opera. That's your grandparents' date? If you want to go for a date, you can feel sophisticated and smart. Faire un pique-nique. To have a picnic. Faire un pique-nique. To have a picnic. Je vais faire un pique-nique au parc avec mes amis le mois prochain. I will have a picnic at the park with my friends next month. You have homemade lunch, maybe nice sandwiches, some glasses of maybe sparkly wine. That's fancy for a picnic and that's kind of nice. And you just enjoy the nature together. Dîner et voir un film. To have dinner and see a movie. Dîner et voir un film. To have dinner and see a movie. Hier soir, nous avons dîné et vu un film. Yesterday evening, we had dinner and saw a movie. That's also a common date practice where you go to a nice restaurant and then you make sure to finish on time and go to a late viewing at the cinema. Then you're all cozy and warm and you fall a bit asleep because it's dark and the food was nice. And then you can rest on the shoulder of your date like this and you're like, ah. Prendre un ferry. To take a ferry ride. Prendre un ferry. To take a ferry ride. Nous avons pris le ferry d'Irlande en Écosse. We took a ferry ride from Ireland to Scotland. If you have a ferry available, it can be a nice date opportunity. You're on the sea, you can see the infinite water in front of you, feel the breeze, imitate the Titanic pose. Why not? And some ferries are so big they even have casino and movie theaters inside, so that can complete your date. Casino. Marcher sur la plage. To walk on the beach. Marcher sur la plage. To walk on the beach. J'aime marcher sur la plage. I like to walk on the beach. I like that too. And then you can hold hands again and draw messages in the sand, make tiny hearts, just sit and look at the ocean, feel the breeze again. Aller au musée. To go to the museum. Aller au musée. Go to the museum. If you want to feel smart and the opera wasn't enough, you can go to the museum, like before the opera. Il aime aller au musée pendant des heures. He likes going to the museum for hours. And you can sit together and stare at romantic paintings of couple in the grass. And it goes for a quiet date and a smart one. And then you feel nice about yourself and you can talk about your feelings while looking at all the art. And it's the end. Tell me what's your fun idea for a date in the comments. And if you want more love and date and that kind of vocabulary, don't forget to check the website or subscribe to the channel because we have more videos about this. And we will see you next time! Yeah. I hope we will see you again after the date. Bye everyone!
Hi everybody, Candice here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I answer your most common French questions. The question for this lesson is, why are French words spelled so differently from how they are pronounced? French spelling and pronunciation may be one of the biggest stumbling blocks for French learners. And there are lots of reasons why French words look so different from how they are pronounced. The main reason is history. The French language is often called a mix between Latin, from the Romans, and Gaulish, the ancient language of Gaul, or modern-day France and Belgium. Latin was used as the writing system, But over time, as more people became literate, French also became a written language. The only problem was that there was no standardized way of spelling. Guérir, to heal, was sometimes spelled with an A. Fromage was sometimes spelled like this. François was famously spelled with a Y. And remember that many of the people who could read and write also knew Latin. So when l'Académie Française was tasked with standardizing French, there was a big debate. Should French be spelled the way it sounds, or should it show its Latin roots? For this reason, it might feel like you are only pronouncing half a word. This is to show its Latin origins, which were once pronounced. Or just as important, the pronunciation might have changed while the spelling stayed the same. For example, the en ending of third-person plural verbs used to be pronounced. Now it's silent and just sounds like the third-person singular. It also led to some interesting spelling innovations. For example, the circumflex. This accent means that an S used to follow the letter. Fête used to be fest or feast. Bête used to be best or beast. So the short answer is that oral language changes while spelling often stays the same. However, in 2016, the Academy made spelling reforms. If you pay attention, you can see language changing all the time. Do you have any more questions? Please leave them in the comments below and I try to answer them. À bientôt. See you soon.
Hey, we're going to Chubby Bunny Challenge today, guys! Hi, everyone! I hope you had a nice new start of the year, and to continue it well, let's talk about what are your top 10 language learning goals for the year. Let's go! Je vais finir la série des phrases de survie sur FrenchPod101.com en écoutant 2 cours par jour. I'll finish survival phrases series on FrenchPod101.com by listening to 2 lessons a day. Je vais finir la série des phrases de survie sur FrenchPod101.com en écoutant 2 cours par jour. I'll finish survival phrases series on FrenchPod101.com by listening to 2 lessons a day. Why not? That's a nice goal because I think there are 60 lessons, so 2 a day is not that hard because they are short, and you should be done in a month. I know our website and our products. Je vais finir la lecture d'un livre en français en lisant 10 pages par jour. I'll finish reading 1 French book by reading 10 pages a day. Je vais finir la lecture d'un livre en français en lisant 10 pages par jour. I finish reading 1 French book by reading 10 pages a day. You should start with comic books because they have pictures so it's easier to understand, and then when you are more comfortable with the language, you can switch to more formal and difficult books. Maybe read novels in French because they are short at first. And then you can move on. Read Harry Potter in French. That's a nice exercise. Je vais réussir mon examen de français. I pass my French test. Je vais réussir mon examen de français. I pass my French test. Ta-da! Good luck! The hardest part for a French exam, I would say, is the writing part, because writing French is quite difficult because it's written very differently from what it sounds. So practice this one if you need to pass a French exam. Je comprendrai parfaitement un film français en le regardant tous les jours. I fully understand 1 French movie by watching it every day. Je comprendrai parfaitement un film français en le regardant tous les jours. I fully understand 1 French movie by watching it every day. Then here again you can start with cartoons, with or without the subtitles, hopefully without the subtitles once you get comfortable, and cartoons because they articulate better. So French cartoons, for example, are Tintin, which is the reporter guy with tiny hair like this. And Asterix and Obelix is also really popular, and you can find a bunch of episodes online. And when you are comfortable with hearing cartoons, you can switch to full French movies. I think the most famous one is Le fabuleux destin d'Amélie Poulain. Before South Park, I really sucked at English. I always had like 11 out of 20 points on my exam stuff. And after 6 months of South Park, I got 19 out of 20. Je vais faire une présentation de moi de 3 minutes en français à mes amis français. I'll give a 3-minute introductory speech in French to my French friends. Je vais faire une présentation de moi de 3 minutes en français à mes amis français. I'll give a 3-minute introductory speech in French to my French friends. So what would be your introductory speech? Leave it in the comment. Like, hey, my name is that and I like pancakes and bunnies. Why not? Try to say that in French. Je vais mémoriser 5 chansons françaises. I'll memorize 5 French songs. Je vais mémoriser 5 chansons françaises. I'll memorize 5 French songs. If you are into old songs, there is Charles Trenet, who was an old singer and he also articulates really well. And sometimes got funny songs, maybe with puns. Or you can also find some more French modern songs if you're into this. But this should be kind of rappy. So maybe it's hard to understand. Je vais finir de mémoriser 350 mots avec Flashcards sur FrenchPod101.com. I'll finish memorizing 350 words with flashcards on FrenchPod101.com. Je vais finir de mémoriser 350 mots avec Flashcards sur FrenchPod101.com. I'll finish memorizing 350 words with flashcards on FrenchPod101.com. So, try them out! On the website. Somewhere here. Down. Je vais écrire 10 cartes postales en français à mes amis français. I write 10 postcards in French to my French friends. Je vais écrire 10 cartes postales en français à mes amis français. I write 10 postcards in French to my French friends. Yo, good luck with that. Send a nice postcard from your country. Je vais maîtriser 150 mots en mémorisant 5 mots par jour. I'll master 150 words by memorizing 5 words a day. Je vais maîtriser 150 mots en mémorisant 5 mots par jour. I'll master 150 words by memorizing 5 words a day. That's 1 month's worth of words. Shouldn't be too hard, you can do it. Je vais parler avec des locuteurs natifs plusieurs fois par semaine. I'll talk to native speakers several times a week. Je vais parler avec des locuteurs natifs plusieurs fois par semaine. I talk to native speakers several times a week. With FrenchPod 101 Premium Plus thingy, you get your own native teacher. You can find many services online to also find friends and talk to them. So tell me, what are your goals for the year? And maybe you have some of these too, so leave it in the comment. And if you want to achieve your goals, go check the website because we have plenty of stuff to help you with your goals. And don't forget to subscribe because we make more French videos for you to learn stuff. And we'll see you next time. New Year dance. Bah. I'm a goat. That's not the sound of a goat. Okay. Phrases. Bleh. Bah. 3-second memory. Nope. No, Siri. Bah. Except for you, watchers.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
Hey guys, it's Pierre from France. Welcome back for more videos on French learning. Today's lesson will be about 10 casual questions that French people can ask you, and you should know how to answer those questions. That's important, because usually when you meet French people, there are always some questions that they will ask you in a certain way that you don't learn in textbook. So, without further ado, let's get started with something quite easy, like what's your name? What's your name? Usually you learn at school that you say comment t'appelles-tu? Comment t'appelles-tu? But usually French people don't say that, and they say tu t'appelles comment? Or comment tu t'appelles? So this is for what's your name? Tu t'appelles comment? Comment tu t'appelles? What's your name? And the answer is like what you learn at school, what you learn in textbook. Je m'appelle Pierre. Je m'appelle Pierre. So here you can see that we don't do the inversion and that we can put comment like here or here. If you didn't watch the video on casual French, you should watch it. This is explained there. So this one is quite easy, like it doesn't really count. Let's move on to the next one. This one doesn't really count because it's really easy, but this one is also quite easy. How are you? Like, how do you do? You know, it's like, comment vas-tu? Usually you learn that in textbook. Comment vas-tu? Comment vas-tu? But usually French people don't say that. They say, ça va? With like a question tone. Ça va? Or even, ça va bien? Ça va bien? Ça va bien? Ça va? So here, as you can see, there is this kind of question tone. Or you can say, comment ça va? Comment ça va? Or even, tu vas bien? Like question, tu vas bien? And for all those three questions, you can answer like ça va, or ça va bien, or even je vais bien. So here, like bien, you can just say ça va. It's not like something that you have to say, but here you have to say bien. You cannot just say je vais. So for example, you can hear that in French. Ça va, ça va. So first person, ça va. The answer is ça va. Ça va, ça va. So here it's like, how do you do, how do you do? But it's quite common in French to hear ça va, ça va. So here, if you hear that, don't be surprised and just answer like ça va or ça va bien. Again, this one is quite easy. This is not like something quite personal. But then let's move on to more personal questions. So here is one of the main questions that you can hear. It's like, where are you from? Tu viens d'où? Tu viens d'où? Or even more accurate, tu viens de quelle ville? Like which city? Or which country? Quel pays? Tu viens de quel pays? Tu viens de quelle ville? So which city? Tu viens de quelle ville? Which country? Tu viens de quel pays? Or like more generic, tu viens d'où? Tu viens d'où? Where are you from? Où is like where. So here you can answer with je viens, like the typical answer for either of those questions is like je viens, and then you can add like the city or the country. But here in French it's a bit tricky. As you may probably know, nouns in French have a gender, like feminine or masculine. It's the same for countries and cities. Cities, it's always feminine. Like Paris, London, Paris, Londres, it's always feminine. So, but countries, you have to remember if it's masculine, feminine or not. Like sometimes it's even plural, like United States, États-Unis. So this is kind of tricky and you need to learn your country. So please check for your country. But if you're one of those countries, you have the example here, like États-Unis, it's plural. So with plural, for this answer, you have to say des. Je viens des États-Unis. Je viens des États-Unis. This is like the de here, and this is like the plural form. If the word is feminine, so for every cities, it's quite easy. But also for some country, like France or Belgium, you have to say de. Je viens de Londres. Je viens de France. Je viens de Belgique. Je viens d'Allemagne. Like Germany, it's feminine as well, and you have to say de. But here, because Germany starts with an A in French, Allemagne, you have to do the contraction, so je viens d'Allemagne. So here, like many countries are feminine, most of the countries are feminine in French. But there are some that are masculine. This is the case for Japan. And when the word is masculine, you have to say du, which is the contraction of de and le. Le is the masculine word in French. So here it's like de le, so it becomes du.
du Japon. Je viens du Japon. Like if you come from Morocco, you have to say je viens du Maroc, because Morocco is masculine. So this is what you can answer. Specific questions, more general questions. And always the same answer, and please, you have to check for your country. If you're from England, je viens d'Angleterre, same as Germany. Angleterre is something masculine. Angleterre is something feminine. So here, je viens d'Angleterre with the contraction of the D. So let's move on to the next one. Now, it's still about locations, but now it's where you live. Où est-ce que tu habites? Où est-ce que tu habites? This is quite common, and maybe you've learned that on textbook. I think I would probably use one of those two sentences if I have to ask a question to someone. Où est-ce que tu habites? Où est-ce que tu habites? Or, t'habites où? T'habites où? Or even tu habites où? Here, as you can see, there is this unusual contraction. When you learn French, you don't learn this kind of contraction, because in the video I made, Casual French, I'm explaining the rule for that, but I'm gonna briefly say it again. So here, tu, like tu habites, in a casual way, you can just do a contraction if there is a vowel sound here. So tu habites, like vowel, habite, so you can say t'habites où? T'habites où? Où est-ce que tu habites? T'habites où? So one of those two questions, you can hear that, and if you hear one of these, you have like to answer with one of those questions. So here again, there is gender for like countries and cities. So cities is still like always feminine, but you have to remember. So here, this is important to remember that you have a, o, o. So here, with plural, so États-Unis, which is plural, you have to say o, silent X, o. If it's feminine, you have to say a, a. So like London, or any other city, you have to say j'habite à Londres, j'habite à Londres. So here, this is kind of easy. Don't forget the accent on the A. It's not the verb avoir, like to have. It's like a preposition, so not a verb. Be careful with that. To distinguish with the verb, you add the accent. And here, au Japon, it's like for all masculine words. Please note that this is the same pronunciation for O and O. But here, since there is a vowel here, you have to do the liaison. Again, there is a video on liaison that is important, and you can check if you don't know the rules. So here, aux États-Unis. So I'm gonna say some other examples. So if you're from England and you live in England, you say j'habite en Angleterre. So here, it's another case. This is feminine, and for cities, it's always a. But for en, when you have to use en, it's when you have a country which is feminine. For example, j'habite en France. J'habite en Allemagne. I live in France, or I live in Germany. So be careful. This is only for city. And with countries, it's en. So, j'habite en France. J'habite en France. So, only for city, the a. Here it's like feminine, but for country. So be careful, because for city it's always a, but for country it's en when it's feminine. So be careful with that, it's really important. En France. But maybe you don't want to be as accurate, or maybe you're living in France now and you're living in the same city than a friend, and this friend wants to know where you live because he wants to visit you. So you can say, like if you live close to the station, for example, you can say j'habite près de la gare. J'habite près de la gare, like close to the station, close to the station. Or if you live close to your university, because you are like an exchange student or like an international student, you can say j'habite près de l'université. Like university, it's like the same as in English, except that here it's the E with an accent. J'habite près de l'université, like close to the university. So this is quite common question, and this is some sort of answer. Here more general, here, and here more specific, like where in the city are you living? So now we've seen like some classic questions. I'm gonna explain some other questions which are kind of important. Those two are quite easy, like how old are you? Quel âge as-tu? Usually you learn that. Quel âge as-tu? How old are you? But usually we don't say that in French. We say t'as quel âge? Or tu as quel âge? Here again, casual French. So contraction between the tu and the a, because here this is a vowel. Like this is the same than here. Contraction. T'as quel âge? T'as quel âge? This is quite common question. So here the answer is the same that in the polite way. J'ai 20 ans. J'ai 20 ans. If you are 20, like you say, j'ai 20 ans. Here, another question which can be useful if you're living in France and you have French friends and some relationships with French people, you may have a phone number that you want to share with people, or people want you to share your phone number. So here, c'est quoi ton numéro? Means like, what is your phone number? C'est quoi ton numéro? This is kind of casual. With friends, you will learn that quite a lot. And the answer is, c'est le 06 08 86 55 77, for example. But remember that in French, when you say numbers, phone numbers, you always say like 2 by 2. So here, it's like 06 08 86 55 77. So I put the dots here that usually you don't write when you write your number, but it's like a way to explain that you just take them 2 by 2. Okay? So c'est quoi ton numéro? C'est le 06 08 etc. etc. So this is kind of common. And maybe you've noticed I forgot this one. This one is kind of special. If you speak like as a non-native French speaker, you can sometimes like you will not be understood, and the person will ask, "Oh, what did you say?" Something like that, and he would say in French, "Comment?" or "Quoi?" Quoi is a bit more. It's like more. It's ruder than comment. Comment means like, "Oh, I didn't understand. I want you to repeat." Though this is a kind of specific question. This is like a casual question, and the answer to this question is just repeat or rephrase your sentence. So, comment, quoi? And please note that it's not because someone, like some French people, ask you to repeat, like with the comment or quoi, that it means that you're like not good at French. It's like even for French people, sometimes we ask this. So don't be worried about that. Comment? So you just repeat. So for example, I said, je viens des États-Unis. I said this sentence quite fast, so you didn't understand, and you want me to repeat, so you say comment. Or if you want to be clearer, you can just say, can you repeat please? So in French, est-ce que tu peux répéter? Est-ce que tu peux répéter? Est-ce que tu peux répéter? So this is equivalent. This is a question equivalent to comment or quoi. So if you hear that, don't be surprised and just try to repeat or rephrase your sentence. So that's all for that. Let's move on to some more specific questions and different formulations. So here, like concerning your birthday, this is a question that you can be asked. So here, like this is the first way to say it, like t'es né quand, t'es né quand. So here again, contraction between tu and e, because there is a vowel, a casual contraction. Né, like born, and quand, like when. You can also add the quand here, like quand t'es né, but it's more it's more common to say t'es né quand. It means like where are you born, when are you born? So t'es né quand, this is quite a classic question. Or if they want specific, like your birthday in particular, they would maybe say, they might say, c'est quand ton anniversaire? C'est quand ton anniversaire? C'est quand ton anniversaire? Like when is your birthday? C'est quand ton anniversaire? Again, casual way. Maybe you've learned in your textbooks quand est-ce qu'est ton anniversaire? Quand est-ce qu'est ton anniversaire? But here it's like the more casual way to say that. And the answer for that is, like for any questions, you can answer any sentences. So you can say, je suis né le 10 janvier 1990. Je suis né le 10 janvier 1990. I forgot to put the le here, which is really important. Je suis né le 10 janvier 1990. Or you can say, just like, take this c'est again and say, c'est le 10 janvier 1990. Even if they ask you, c'est quand ton anniversaire, you can still answer with, je suis né le 10 janvier 1990. Je suis né le 10 janvier 1990. Or, maybe it would be more common to say, c'est le 10 janvier 1990. So here, like some classic answers. But be careful if you hear those questions and not what you've learned in your textbooks. And the last three ones are like kind of long questions, but French people often ask those questions, so be prepared for that. So here, three ways to ask the same question. I'm not gonna say it in English. First, I'm gonna read them. So, ça fait combien de temps que tu apprends le français? Ça fait combien de temps que tu apprends le français? Can you understand the meaning? Here, I didn't write the translation in English because it's a good practice for you to try to translate before I'm giving you the translation. So here, the question is, okay, maybe you've found the meaning of that, but let's move on to the next one. T'apprends le français depuis combien de temps? T'apprends le français depuis combien de temps? T'apprends le français depuis combien de temps? So this one, like same meaning. Or here, t'as commencé quand à apprendre le français? T'as commencé quand à apprendre le français? I forgot the question mark just here, but like it's roughly the same meaning. This one, if you translate this one, you have to say, like it would be something like, for how long have you been learning French? For how long have you been learning French? Ça fait combien de temps que tu apprends le français? Or you can even do the contraction here, que t'apprends le français. Like I did the contraction here, but you can also just say tu. It's like the same than here. T'as quel âge? Tu as quel âge? So here, this one, those two sentences are like exactly the same translation. Like for how long have you been learning French? Just two casual way to say it, two different casual way. And the last one is a bit different. It's like, when did you start learning French? When did you start learning French? In a casual way. T'as commencé quand à apprendre le français? So here it's like roughly the same meaning. So here the answer would be like one of those two sentences. Like for any of those questions, you can answer one of those two sentences. Ça fait 2 ans. So here you can see that there is a ça fait and the same than here. Even though you can answer for any of those questions, here you can see that it's kind of the same pattern. It's quite difficult to translate in English, but the meaning is here, like I have been learning French for 2 2 years, 2 ans. Ça fait 2 ans. It's like kind of short way to say that. Ça fait. Here it's like the verb faire, which is like do, to do. This is quite common in French to say ça fait, like for amounts or distance or like time. You can say ça fait. So like if you want to say the price of something, you can say ça fait 2 euros. Ça fait 2 euros. Like it costs 2 euros. But in French you can say just ça fait. Ça fait 2 euros. So here again it's like ça fait 2 ans, which is what you see here in the question. Like, for how long have you been learning French? How? Ça fait 2 ans. Ça fait combien de temps que tu apprends le français? Ça fait 2 ans. 2 ans. But if you want to do something with like when you started, you want to use the verb start in French, which is commencer. You can say j'ai commencé il y a 2 ans. So here, il y a, it's like ago. So here, 2 years ago. So in French, the ago is before the time. So here, j'ai commencé il y a 2 ans. I've started 2 years ago. Il y a 2 ans. Il y a 3 ans. Il y a 3 heures. Like 3 hours ago. But if you started French 3 hours ago, that's good. But it's not that long. So you will probably not answer that question with this. So j'ai commencé il y a 2 ans. So this is kind of common way to answer those questions. And personally, when I meet someone, like I'm always wondering when they start learning the language they learn. And so that's really common question that you will probably hear if you go to France. Here is something also related to your French learning. It's like how did you translate? How did you learn French? Okay. The next one is a bit like the previous one, but it's focusing on your French learning. But here it's not when, but it's how. Like people are sometimes curious and they want to know how you've learned French. So here is 2 questions that you can hear. It's like, t'as appris comment le français? T'as appris comment le français? T'as appris comment le français? Here again, you can see that there is this contraction. T'as appris comment le français? T'as, tu as. So here, if I ask you guys, t'as appris comment le français? T'as appris comment le français? You can answer like, j'ai appris à l'université. Your answer is like, j'ai appris à l'université. Université, you remember, we've seen that before, it's like in English, university. University with the accent. J'ai appris à l'université. So you've learned at university French. But another question like can be asked is like, t'as appris où le français? Où? So here you can see that we can ask like with comment or où. But it's roughly the same meaning, like how and where. You can say that in French, but it's, yeah, roughly the same meaning, because comment, it's like, oh, I've learned at university, which is like, I was working at university. This is the answer for where, but it's also the answer for how, because you, like, when you say, j'ai appris à l'université, it underpins that you've learned with a teacher. So this, it was your method, kind of method. But another question, another answer that you can ask, like maybe you are watching those videos and you're learning by yourself without using a teacher. So here, j'ai appris tout seul, like by myself or alone. J'ai appris tout seul. So this is a question, like where did you learn French? T'as appris où le français? You can say, oh, nowhere. I've just learned by myself. So you can just say, j'ai appris tout seul. So here, even if it's où, you can say, j'ai appris tout seul. It's not something really weird if you do that in French. T'as appris comment le français? Again, you can say, j'ai appris tout seul. Comment? Tout seul. So here, again, the comment would be more related to tout seul, and the où would be more related to à l'université. But if you guys don't do the disambiguation, like if you answer with the other ones, it's perfectly okay. So again, 2 questions related to French learning. And the last one is related to your trip in France. Like when you meet, like if you go to France and you meet some people, they might ask you, like if it's your first time in France or if you've ever been in France before, or questions like that. So the way they can ask you that is, c'est la première fois que tu viens en France? Like the polite way to say that would be, est-ce que c'est la première fois que tu viens en France? Est-ce que c'est la première fois que tu viens en France? So this is kind of polite, or also casual, but this one is more casual. C'est la première fois que tu viens en France. C'est la première fois que tu viens en France. So here, if I ask you, c'est la première fois que tu viens en France, like you are, like we are in France, you're asking, like I meet you and I ask you, c'est la première fois que tu viens en France? If it's your first time, you can say, oh yeah, it's my first time. So you just say, oui, c'est la première fois. Oui, c'est la première fois. But if it's not your first time, you can say, oh no, it's not my first time, it's like my second time. So you can say, non, c'est la deuxième fois. Première, deuxième. So non, c'est la deuxième fois. Deuxième fois. I'm gonna write deuxième, because maybe you want to know how to say that. Deuxième. So here you can say that. Another question, which is kind of the same meaning, but like there is a subtlety, which is because it's the opposite. It's like when they ask you, t'es déjà venu en France avant? T'es déjà venu en France avant? Like here again, contraction. Tu es, t'es. T'es déjà venu en France avant. Have you ever been to France before? Avant, before. Ever, déjà. Have you ever been to France before? Have you ever been? So, t'es déjà venu en France avant. Your answer is can be, oh, no, I've never been to France. Non, je ne suis jamais venu en France avant. Non, je ne suis jamais. The opposite of déjà is jamais. Déjà, jamais. Venu en France avant. Non, je ne suis jamais venu en France avant. Or you can answer if you've been to France before. You've been in France before, you can say, je suis déjà venu il y a 2 ans, for example. So here again, you see that il y a 2 ans, 2 years ago. Je suis déjà venu il y a 2 ans. Okay, so you've seen that French people can ask you questions in many ways. So you've seen like some classic questions. Don't forget that the contraction is really important. Then don't do the inversion. Here, tu viens, viens-tu. And here, question that French people can ask you. And sometimes you hear those questions a lot. And instead of just being like confused, it's better to be used to that and just to answer those questions, because you will know how to answer that. So now you will be confident enough to answer the questions. And that's really good for your your determination. Because if you go to France and you live in France, like other international students or stuff like that, like I did, you will hear those questions. And if you can directly answer those questions without thinking about that, that's really good for your mind, because you say, okay, I can speak with native people and answer questions really easily. So this is kind of good for your self-confidence. So please read those sentences again and try to be confident with that. You can just read those questions out loud and make your own response, your own answers with your own birthday or your own, like when did you start learning French, or how did you learn? How did you learn French? So this was only a small amount of sentences, but I hope it would be good for you. So that's all for today. Well, If you like this video, you can click on the like button or leave a comment on the comment section down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can click on the subscribe button, and with that you will not miss our contents. And if you want some more resources on French learning, you can go on our website frenchpod101.com. You will see a lot of contents for you French learning and improve your way to speak and read French. That's all for today. It was Pierre, and see you on next video.
Hi everyone! If you're coming to France, you will probably need to take the train or the metro, and probably even in Paris. So let's have 10 phrases to survive at the station, because it's pretty hard in there. It's the jungle! J'aimerais aller à... I'd like to go to... J'aimerais aller à... I would like to go to... Then put the name of the place. Whether it's a city, if you're taking the train, or if it's a metro, you might want to know more precise location. So, if you can find someone at the ticket counter, just ask, J'aimerais aller à, and then they will give you the directions. Est-ce la bonne plateforme pour? Is it the right platform for? Est-ce la bonne plateforme pour? Is it the right platform for? Place. So if the station is really big, you will have a lot of platforms. And sometimes it might get confusing, so you might want to ask if you're on the right place. And if it's a metro, for example, or a tramway, they go both directions, so you want to be sure you are on the right side of the platform to get the right direction, or else you would go the other way, and it can get tricky. À quelle heure est le dernier train? What time is the last train? À quelle heure est le dernier train? What time is the last train? This question sounds so Japanese. If it's a big normal train, they may have trains all day and sometimes even night trains. And if you're talking about a metro or tramway train, then depending on the cities, sometimes they finish later, but around midnight is a good safe spot for the last train, so try to get them before midnight. Sometimes they have some after, but that's mostly in bigger cities, so you don't want to take that risk. Où puis-je changer pour? Where do I change for? Où puis-je changer pour? Where can I change for? Place. I didn't change at the proper spot and ended up 250 kilometers away from where I was supposed to be. Ah, whoopsie. Be sure to check that. And be sure also to have enough time before trains to change. If you're going from a big train to a big train and going through a big train station, or even through a big city, sometimes they have many train stations, so you need enough time to go from one station to another. So be careful with that. Où est la gare? Where is the train station? Où est la gare? Where is the train station? Where is the train station? This is not a sentence to survive at the station, because you're not in the station, you're looking for it. Ask your local policeman. Train stations are usually indicated, so they should be easy to find, but if you don't know, just ask anyone, really. Où est-ce que je peux acheter un billet? Where can I buy a ticket? Où est-ce que je peux acheter un billet? Where can I buy a ticket? If you're going abroad from France, sometimes you will have to queue at the ticket counter to get your ticket. Usually people speak English. Où sont les distributeurs automatiques de billets? Where are the ticket machines? Où sont les distributeurs automatiques de billets? Where are the ticket machines? In the station, they are a bit everywhere. Est-ce que ce bus va à? Does this bus go to? Est-ce que ce bus va à? Does this bus go to? Place? You can ask this to the driver of the bus, because sometimes, again, the map for all the bus routes can be pretty tricky to understand, and you cannot really be sure if you're on the right side of the road to take the right bus in the right direction. So you should ask your bus driver if you're not sure. Où est l'arrêt de bus? Where is the bus stop? Où est l'arrêt de bus? Where is the bus stop? Depending on the city, you will have many bus lines, so you want to find the right bus stop for the right bus line. So if you find a bus stop, it may not be your right line, so be sure to check that too. Le train a du retard. The train's running late. Le train a du retard. The train is running late. It is indeed. Mostly buses are late in France. Trains are okay-ish. They can depart on time. Don't expect them to be really precise. But still be on time just in case it leaves on time this one time. That was a lot of time. Timey time. So have you ever taken a bus or a train in France? And how was it? And was it on time? Tell me in the comments. Usually mine weren't really on time. And if you want to learn more French words about transportation or travel, you can check the website and don't forget to subscribe for more French words. See you next time. Have a good ride and good luck with it. Boop. That's my train pose. It's getting hot in here.